My name's Marissa, if you don't know me. This is a video about how I pack my motorcycle for a camping trip. I've been riding for maybe 5 years or so. I have no idea how many miles I have. I should probably figure that out. I'm going to show you a little bit about how I pack, why I pack, what I'm packing on. So let's get to it. Okay, so what we are working with here is a bunch of my normal camping gear and my bike. I've got a 2017 Harley-Davidson Sportster Iron 883 XL. Figured I'd put it all in there. My packing method is bags and stuff all strapped up to my sissy bar, which you can see here. I used to, oh, and the little rack on the back. I do also have a very small, wouldn't call it a saddle bag. What is it? Fender bag? This is for a couple days, maybe 2 or 3 days in a group setting. So I don't have all of the supplies that one might need to go solo camping. But I do try and have a couple essentials for safety. Summer camping in Oregon, if you're not familiar already, we can get high temperatures where it's really warm, but we can get almost down to freezing at night, especially depending on what elevation you're in. So I definitely want to suggest having a nice, warm, specially rated sleeping bag and ways to insulate yourself. Tarp is important for a moisture layer. I have a wool blanket here to help insulate. Sorry for the background noise. In this pack here, this little gray doodad, it's a air and foam mattress roll-up thing. So those are all things I use to help get myself off the ground. Most of this stuff is stuff that I have had for camping before, not what I bought specifically for moto camping. So I'm working with, things that I've had in the past and making it work for my trips. There are definitely better options out there, but I've found with the type of camping that I do and the setup that we as a group can get together, that this works really well for me. Some other things to note here. These are all part of my tent. This is a little camp stool. Here's some extra gasoline. I've got an axe, good for chopping things. Koozie. This is a sissy bar bag. I'll show you guys how that gets set up. And then over here, I've got a bunch of bungees. And then also my big pack that I stick everything into. Not shown here are obviously my essentials, my toiletries, my underwear, bras, etc. And for a couple-day camping trip, I try and cut down on changes of clothing. So I probably only bring 2 pairs of pants and some PJs, enough to keep me warm and dry. I do try to minimize all of the extra stuff that you might bring on a little weekend trip. So I'm gonna get to packing this up. Okay, so the logic here is really minimizing space. As you can see, all I have really to pack stuff into is this bag. It does expand quite a bit. It is a, backpacking bag, so it's got a lot of straps to cinch with. I've got a lot of extra bags, got the hip packs. It is a backpack. Not perfect for this situation, but it works well for me. So the first thing I do is just open everything up here and get it as big as I can to start fitting everything inside. The big compartment I actually end up putting the tent, tarp, and wool blanket into, and I'm going to roll them all together so they kind of become one large piece, or maybe 2 pieces that I can just shove in there. Alright, next up is the bottom of the bag, where my sleeping bag and roll-up mattress get shoved into. The nice thing about this sleeping bag is that I can shove it in any way I want. So I really try to utilize the extra space here that kind of goes around the other pieces that have a harder time packing. As you can see, I still actually have a lot more space in here, and I would, if I were actually packing, utilize that. At this point, all that other stuff I talked about, extra clothing, towels, toiletries, etc. I do try to make things easily accessible and organized, so all of one type of thing on one side. This guy opens up, easy access pouch. Same, there's a big pocket here. After everything is said and done, I will cinch the shit out of this and try to make it as compact as possible. So that's what I'm going to show you right now. Okay, so you'll see here we have changed the view. This is to give you an idea of how I actually strap it to the sissy bar. You'll notice that my bike is clearly leaning on its kickstand, and if you didn't notice in the earlier shots, I also have it in the driveway that has an angle to it. So those are kind of some things to keep in mind when you're packing. If you're packing in an upright position like I am, where I have to strap things up and down, you do want to consider balance and weight distribution on your bike. Everything is going to be centered around that sissy bar, so I want to always make sure that the sissy bar, or that things are strapped well to it, and that that thing can handle what it is being given to handle, which it can, and I've tested it already. Thanks, Natty Blank, for the rad-ass sissy bar. So here you'll see I've got this little tiny rack here. That's just to kind of keep shit off the paint. As you can see, there's already shit on my bag. I tend to use the straps as the initial way that I attach this, and then I will strengthen the attachments and the whole structure of the thing with the bungees after I've strapped everything. Okay, so next up I kind of think about attaching things to the outside. I do have here a little camp stool guy, which comes in handy. I usually stick that on the outside, somewhere in the straps here. Like I said, some extra gas. You never know. I feel better having it. I actually like to tuck that right into the back straps here. And then it's sitting on the edge of that little rack that I had. Thanks, Corinne. This will actually get strapped in a little better once I put the bungees on. Handy X. So it also gets strapped on the outside, facing away from me. This guy here is actually a sissy bar bag. Pretty sweet. Probably should put that on first, maybe. This is a really nice, accessible, easy bag to get to when we're actually on the road. So I tend to put my things that I need right away, a change of gloves, water, chapstick, wallet, whatever in here. The next and last thing I really do once I've got everything strapped on there is bungee. I definitely recommend one of these bungee nets. It really kind of keeps things nice and tight on your bike, along with some other bungees, but this is kind of what I use around the gas to make sure things aren't moving around. Lots more bungees. I'm not gonna go through the whole bungee thing right now because they're a pain in the ass. And then yeah, the last thing you want to do is really kind of just test your shit out and make sure that it's tight. Even this with just the one bungee on it and the strapping I've done is actually already pretty good. I do want to get that a little more solid before I take off on the road, but having things not move too much is really your ideal situation. And as you can see, with a little bit of push, my whole bike moves. That means everything's pretty solid on here. And yeah, there you go.